really do it in Cleveland. And I was also young, and there aren't that many jobs and people in Cleveland, So I moved to Chicago because I always loved the city, and I heard it had a good stand-up scene. Kyle Kinane, who was in Blurs and came out of Chicago, he has a Comedy Central half-hour special coming out. Matt Bronger, who came out of Chicago, just had one. Kumail Nanjiani is about to have one. And people now are real interested in these Chicago comics, and I think a lot of it is because of the scene we came out of, where everyone developed these really unique acts. So I love it. I think part of that is what makes it great, in that there's no pressure on you to have this real mainstream marketable act. You can have a weird act, and I think people actually prefer that. Like, people are kind of tired of hearing about like cell phones and everything like that, and they really like hearing that unique act. I think the other thing is, there's really only one club in the city proper, which is Zanies, and then Red Bar just opened up, so now there's maybe, depending on how you define it, two, which is not a lot for a city of 9 million people. Which the cool thing then that ends up happening is you have all these alternative rooms that sprouted up, like this show tonight here at a bar, the Lincoln Lodge on Fridays is in a restaurant. And those also, I think, help the creativity of the scene, because now you don't have the pressure of a comedy booker who wants you to maybe be clean or, be family friendly. Not that comedy's bad, you just have the freedom to do whatever you want. So I think in a lot of ways the scene is good because there isn't that much of a presence of the industry, The improv and sketch tradition, I feel, also helps it too, because you have a lot of people that come here for improv and sketch and also do stand-up, and I think that helps the stand-up scene as well. Which is cool because you get more stage time, and it's also more about being funny. Like in New York, if you want to get stage time at a lot of places, they call it barking, where you have to pass out flyers in Times Square, and you don't get stage time until X amount of people come to the club with your flyer. And so it's really not as much about who's funny as who's willing to work for it. But here it's really just about who's funny. I mean, the work should be in making yourself funny, not in passing out flyers. You get less stage time, and there's more restrictions around how you perform within that stage time. So I think you give up a little bit of kind of performance freedom.
It's a really good scene. There's literally rooms that you can get up every night of the week if you want to. You could go, even tonight, if I wanted to, I could probably find 3 places to get up on stage at. And then there's also some clubs where you can get work at. There's Zanies, there's the Improv out in Schaumburg, there's Riddles down on the south side, so it's a pretty good scene.
I decided to move to Chicago, honestly, just for Second City. It is a town where it's, you got Second City, you got Improv Olympic, you got The Annoyance, you got Zanies, you got all these stand-up places, and it is true. The Second City people go on to do these huge things. The Zanies people are just like stand-ups, very popular stand-ups that kind of hit Zanies on their tour through the country. So, and you get to see the best in the business. So, again, you're just constantly surrounded by the best, basically.
So,
I think it's amazing. It's kind of fun because they're these small rooms, and you go to these places and you're like in a back little bar area that kind of has a stage, but they're like these cutting edge comedy people that are coming up with really good bits, really good gigs, and it seems like half the people we started performing with are doing something where they're making a living off of sketch or writing or performing or something like that. Like, they're all doing stuff in that field, and people have discovered them from Chicago. And it's these people that you perform in a back house for 25 people, and there's people on SNL now that you perform, they performed in these little shows, and there's people writing sitcoms, and there's people out in LA. It's just a great scene with good people. I
get a ton of stage time here, and there's a lot of bleed over,